Hey guys, this is Dan at CSS, and I just finished a surgery on our 2TDX towers that are already finished. We released grills recently, and we've got a lot of customers out there that already have their beautiful 1TDX and 2TDX towers finished up, and they want to add the grills. So we've come up with this solution. We added some tiny screws. They are a couple millimeters deep, but they are very easy to install. They're steel screws, so the magnets will stick to them. And it couldn't have been easier. I just filmed it, doing it for the first time. I'd never done it before. So I put a camera on, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. So the first thing we're going to do is mark out our screw hole centers. The magnets on the 2TDX are placed at 6.5 inches apart here, and then 10 inches apart here. So that corresponds to, on the 2TDX, about an inch from the side. We're going to start about an inch from the top. The reason I say about is because with the veneer on there, it's slightly over an inch away, but an inch will suffice. So we're going to take our ruler, and we're going to mark out 1 inch. And then 10 inches from there. And then we'll do 10 inches from there again. You want to mark as minimally as possible. The screw head is going to cover up some of this, but you just want to make sure your mark is not too big so it gets outside the screw head. One inch. And again, notice I'm marking at the 11 because I'm going 10 inches from this first 1 inch mark. Then here, measuring out another 10 inches. Now this ruler is an inch wide, so these dots should be right about where they're supposed to be, but I'm going to come back through and check. And that is a little over an inch in. Like I said, with the veneer being a little thicker, a little over an inch is okay. So I'm going to leave those all right where they are. And then I'm going to go through, I'm going to take something like this. This just has a sharp point. I'm just going to get the hole started for the drill bit with a little divot there. And then we're going to start drilling holes. I've got a 9/64 drill bit. This is going to be perfect for the screws that we're using. Get your drill bit started in the hole, in the little divot that you made. Make sure it's locked in there. Start slow. We want to make sure that when we do this, we can kind of chisel away at these fibers. We don't want to grab any and tear them. So we'll start slow. Allow the fibers to cut through. You can see that's a nice clean hole around there. Again, we've got a screw head that's going to cover a lot of this up, so if we do tear the fibers a little bit, it won't be that big a deal. You want to make sure to go deep enough with your hole that you can accommodate this whole screw depth. We are not quite there. We don't want to go all the way through the cabinet though. The right tool to use here is a depth stop, but I'm kind of winging it. Now we have enough, and we are not anywhere near 3/4 of an inch. We're going to keep doing this all the way around. You want to try to go in as vertically as possible. You see there I got a little bit of tear out on the fibers, but again our screw head is going to cover that up. Go in as vertically as you possibly can. And yes, I'm going to vacuum all this up when I'm done. All right, then we need a 5/64 Allen wrench. It's very tiny. And we get these screws. We're not sure exactly how we're going to offer these yet, but we'll make them available to you. I just got these from McMaster-Carr. We can send you a link to those too. You may notice the veneer pulling up a little bit around the hole. That's to be expected as the screw starts, but again, the head is going to bury that right back down again. And you want to get this all the way flush and don't over torque it. These threads are pretty fine, and this is just MDF that it's going into, so it's not designed to take a lot of torque, but it doesn't need to have much holding power. We're just trying to hold a grill on that weighs probably less than a pound. If you find you've got a stray fiber hanging out, try to grab it. You may need to loosen it a little bit and come back through. That stray fiber kind of poked out, and I was able just to remove it with my thumbnail. Try to start these screws as straight as you can, but at the end of the day, they're just going to follow whatever hole was drilled. So if you get them started a little crooked, they should find their way in straight now. And that is it. And now you've got these small screws. They stick about 2 millimeters proud of the surface, but they match the hardware. They look very inconspicuous. It almost looks like it was designed like this to begin with. And then, where's our grill? Perfect fit. Stays on there extremely well. 6 N52 neodymium magnets on some steel-headed screws, and that is not going anywhere. You can see that there is a very, very, very tiny gap here where the 2 millimeter sits proud, but it is very difficult to see. And that's that.